Hello and welcome back to Hydroponics Daily, your go-to podcast for everything soilless cultivation. I'm your host, Dr. Russell Sharp, the founder of Eutrema Limited. We make gold leaf, as it's called in the US, or liquid gold, as it's called in the UK, plus loads of other hydroponic and horticultural inputs, specialist inputs. Today, I thought I'd go through a graph I created on Google Sheets. Yes, it sounds boring, but it's about hydroponics, and it really gives a summary of the state of, or a snapshot, should we say, of the state of the hydroponic industry in the UK. And I've plotted the number of hydroponic companies formed in each year and the number that have been dissolved, the number have gone bankrupt or gone into administration or whatever you want to say, stop trading, basically. And it's really interesting because it, obviously, during lockdown and COVID, loads of companies were formed, but and far more than any other year in 2020. And obviously less companies were dissolved, but not as many as you would expect, considering the bump that hydroponics had, that really big bump in trading in 2020. And so that means that the people that were there trading had a really good year, and it wasn't just shared out. People were slow to catch on. And then there was an increase in companies stopping trading, going dissolved thereafter, and far more companies were being dissolved than were being created up until this year, 2025, where we're starting to see more companies being formed in hydroponics than are disappearing, which is great news. And we haven't seen a year like that since 2020, and then before COVID, 2018. So it's not all great news in hydroponics. If you look at Google Trends, you'll see there is a downward trend in the term hydroponics compared to other things, generic things in like propagation units or vegetable seeds. If you plot those two things together on Google Trends, you'll see hydroponics is still declining. And if you plot it against toilet brushes, you'll see toilet brushes have increased, which is, I always use toilet brushes because it's a good way of seeing a generic, standard, non-fancy product. And you can see sort of like the trend for retail products with toilet brushes, and you can see that hydroponics is going down and standard normal goods are going up. But perhaps people are spending more, and this is why it's not so much small players now, it's larger companies. And so you can see that the company data is showing that it's a lot healthier. The actual businesses that are forming in hydroponics is a lot better. So this is not just grow shops, this is not just hydroponic companies, this is any company with the word hydroponic or hydroponics in their name. I've not gone into the detail and studied what they're actually doing, and then there will be other companies that are in hydroponics that have not got the word hydroponics in the name, and so don't come up on the Companies House data. So in the UK, we're very lucky. We have this thing called Companies House, and we can look at other people's data and their accounts and things like this in some detail, account summaries and things like this. In many countries, you can't have this. I think in New Zealand and Australia, you can do that because they're former colonies. Whereas in the US, I don't think you get as much detail on companies' accounts as we do in the UK. Every company has to submit it to Companies House, and you can search them. And when I'm bored, I tend to search for my competitors and see how much cash they had in the bank in 2015 and things like this, boring things like this. So yeah, I think this data is good news for the hydroponic sector in the UK. I don't know, maybe you've got a similar information in your country and you can make a similar graph and let me know what you think. That's been Hydroponics Daily for today. Nothing about science or growing. It's more about the state of the industry and where we think it's heading. And I think it's heading in a positive direction by the look of this. A maturing market that's coming out of a slump that was partly self-inflicted after COVID. So thank you very much for listening. And if you like this, please share it with any other hydroponic growers or anyone else in the industry. Thank you very much. Goodbye.